If I look like I've been crying, it's because I was just reading a really sad part of a book and I'm so pregnant and hormonal and it had me crying. But anyway, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kayla and I like to talk about books, book reviews, reading vlogs, stuff like that. So if any of that interests you, then please subscribe. But today I'm doing just a quick little video to give a few spring book recommendations. So if you'd like a couple of my favorite kind of spring seasonal books to read, then keep watching. Okay, so some really good spring reads to me I feel like are things that it feels like a fresh season, renewal, spring cleaning, all that type of stuff, and then looking forward to summer. So there's definitely some things that for me are the vibe of just the refreshing part of the season. One of the big things that I was thinking of was The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I really like this book in general. I thought this was a great read, and because the plot is sort of like somebody who gets to check out different versions of her life via books in this midnight library and see what, if she had made just one choice differently, what her life would look like. And I really like that premise. I think that that goes so well with like spring, reinvention, renewal. I think that that whole thing kind of just feels a little springy to me. This book does that without making it feel really dark and really dreary, even though like it is some kind of darker content and subject matter theoretically, but it doesn't feel heavy, if that makes sense. And I just really like the way that all of the different options are presented. The premise is just so good. So I would definitely recommend this if you're looking for something that kind of deals with the renewal, the time, all of the different options. The next book, if you are looking for like a shorter read that I would probably recommend, is either Paleo Fantasy by Marlene Zook. And in a lot of ways this feels to me like in a similar vein to Omnivore's Dilemma, but actually so much more like scientific basically. Basically when the paleo diet started getting really popular, this was like a little bit of a response to it. The response being there were many paleo diets, there were many paleo lifestyles, and data doesn't necessarily support that being like the best thing for us all of the time. And it's by an evolutionary biologist from, I believe, the University of Minnesota. I actually randomly got this at a store in Munich like years ago and I just loved reading it. I thought it was fascinating, and something about that too, I feel like a lot of people in this time of year might be feeling the urge to diet healthy lifestyle in preparation for like the summer styles, which are typically more revealing, and this is just kind of a nice way to look at things like diet and lifestyle from like data instead of necessarily how you're looking, more about how you're feeling, and just it's really interesting. I really like it. Oh no, she's a professor of ecology, evolution, and behavior at the University of Minnesota. Fascinating combination, great book, and it is not at all dry. Even though it seems like it could be dry, it's not dry. Trust me, it's really good. So I would highly recommend this as well. Something about the time of year feels good for that. But I would also say this as a shorter read. The House Guest is a collection of short stories. They're kind of creepy and eerie, but in a way that I feel like is so actually perfect for like springtime. So I'm not going to get into a huge description about this. I have a review of it somewhere on my channel, so I will find that and put a card around here and you can hear my in-depth thoughts there. But I do think it's a good spring read, something to throw in your bag, because I think people start really getting out and about, out of the house more, wanting to do more things when the springtime comes, though it's not coming everywhere. There are a lot of places that are still having snow right now. Another really good one, going in the same vein of like reinvention, kind of looking at and a little bit evolution, I guess, so in the same vein of Paleo Fantasy as well, is Richard Dawkins' The Greatest Show on Earth. I've read a few of his books. I think they're all really good, but this is the one for me that if you're just gonna read one thing he wrote, this is it. This is the best one. It just is really interesting. It goes into basically how creationism, I don't want to say like creationism can't be possible, because I think that you can have both philosophies at the same time. If you want to believe in God and you want to believe that we are created, you can also acknowledge evolution. I don't think that those are mutually exclusive. He kind of does, so I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think that you can believe that there's a God if you so do, and you can believe that evolution occurred as well. So but that aside, I don't even care about really talking about like his religious beliefs or non-religious beliefs or any of that. It's just a great book about evolution, which feels kind of like, if you're in the mood for something non-fiction, it feels very springtime. Something about the renewal and the change and looking at all of that feels like such a springtime vibe. I don't know what it is, but it really does. It's a big read, kind of, but it's not dry, but it feels like a bigger book to read sometimes, depending on your level of interest in the topic. But yeah, I definitely think this is really good, and I think that he just explains everything so well, so that if you're not an evolutionary biologist, if you're not even in a science field or a STEM field, which obviously many people aren't, but you still want to have a really good understanding of evolution, this is a great way to do it. If you're trying to have a good understanding of how to explain evolution to other people, this is a great way to do it. So what is it? Intelligent design, that's the theory that basically goes against this. It's not even like creationism, it's this versus intelligent design, which yeah, he debunks, gets into, and I feel like it's very springy. I'm gonna cap this off with this short stories by F. Scott Fitzgerald book. Actually, very specifically, A Diamond as Big as the Ritz is the one that I would like you to read. A Diamond as Big as the Ritz is, obviously people talk about it, but I just feel like it's so still not talked about enough. Like, that is such a great story. I don't know what about it for me is giving a springtime vibe, but it's giving a springtime vibe. So I would very, very much recommend A Diamond as Big as the Ritz, as well as this book in general. I kind of feel like, to be honest, F. Scott Fitzgerald writes short stories really, really well. You can tell that's where a lot of his structure and his attention span and his stories just seem to shine. I think he's good with a story that he doesn't necessarily need to flesh out. He's good with a story that he can just kind of explore a little bit of an idea of, and I think that that's his short stories are really, really good, and that would be a fun spring read because it's an easy one that you can pick up, read a story, and put down, because pick up and put down books start to, I feel like, be more of a thing again springtime. You're gonna leave the house a little bit more. A list of a couple of recommendations if you're interested in them. You let me know below though if your reading habits like change at the springtime, if you also like to read like a little bit different books based on the seasons. It's a big thing that I do. I feel like there's a lot of enjoyment aside from like newer releases or books I'm just super excited for. I often will even hold on to a book and wait until it's like the vibe, the season to read it. So that's big with me. I feel like these are some good ones for the spring. Probably another one would be the Emma Straub, I can't remember the name of it. This time next year, something like that. That would be another great one, I feel like, for the springtime. But yeah, you let me know below what are some of your picks for springtime, if there's anything you're excited about. And that's gonna be it for this video. So thank you so much, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you later, hopefully with another book review soon.